What's up guys, welcome back to the Life Inside of Jess channel. My name is Jesse. Today I'm doing something I've never done before and I'm a little terrified, but we're gonna try to handle it today. What I have in front of me here is a guitar amp that I got for a crazy price. The long story short is, I saw this Sound Electronics 505R 212 combo amp on Marketplace for $50. Knowing it didn't work, knowing it needed work to be able to be playable, I saw it for 50 bucks. I had to buy it. Clearly I've already opened it up, and you can see on top here, these are the speakers that were in it. This was not stock, for sure. These typically came with Jensen speakers. I want to say it was the C12Q speakers. Could totally be wrong. This right here is a Jensen. It's the C12RL, which I hear mixed things about, so we'll see if that's cool. This speaker is completely different. I thought it was a Rolla. This is actually a RCA speaker, and I've checked the impedance on both of them. This is a 4 ohm speaker, and that's an 8 ohm speaker. My guess with this amp in general is it's probably an 8 ohm amp. I could totally be wrong. That's something I have to figure out later on. But the purpose of the video today is not dealing with the speakers and not really getting it to be fully playable. The main purpose today is getting this 2-prong power cord out of this amp. I have a replacement 3-prong cord here, which you can see it's got ground, neutral, and hot. I'm gonna rewire this into the amp, take the old one out, and that's really the main thing that I want to do today. I've watched so many videos on how to do this. Obviously, take what I say with a grain of salt, don't do what I do, have an idea of how this goes, and I've already mapped out what I need to do. I was trying to think of a better way to show this, but I'm just going to hold the camera for this. This is the power cable. You can see it comes in, it goes into a ground switch which has the the death capacitor on it, which I got to take that out. It then goes to the power switch, which then goes to the transformer. This black cable goes to the fuse here. The fuse goes to the polarity switch. I'm sure you can't even see this, but I made a little sketch of the existing condition of the amp right now, and I've made a plan here. You can't even see it, but I'll talk about it more when I get into it. Real quick, just to talk about this amp from some research I've done, I learned that this company, Sound Electronics, was created by an ex-Ampeg employee, and he wasn't really like an engineer or anything like that. But so it's a relatively simple circuit. I know I haven't showed the front of the amp, but later on I'll show a little bit what's going on. But it's a 2-channel amp. It has reverb, it has tremolo. Both the channel 1 and channel 2 are the exact same circuit, and you can have the reverb only go on one channel or both of the channels, depending on like a switch that you have. It's a pretty simple amp, and because of that, that's why I feel a little more secure in wanting to do this and wanting to try to, fix it myself. Some of the things that we're missing, there isn't a single preamp tube in there. So I had to order some. These are all just gain match tubes I found for cheap. These are, I think these came from like an Angle. I found it on eBay. This was like 50 bucks for all 5. So these are not gonna be good tubes. These are just like JJ tubes that came out of an amp that still work, but again, it was $50. I didn't want to spend a lot of money. I just went with all 12AX7 tubes. The other thing it was missing was a cap for the fuse holder. I didn't really know what I was supposed to look for a while. I thought about it and I realized since this was like an ex-Ampeg employee, I bet that the fuse holder was something that was used by Ampeg in the 60s. So I just Googled Ampeg 60s, they're like 60s Ampeg fuse holder, fit perfectly. So now I know I'm probably rambling a little bit, I'm a little nervous. So I think first things first, I've already checked, but I'm gonna check again just to make sure that there's no voltage in the capacitors. forgive me, it's a little dark here, but this is the can capacitor. What I was learning online, again, I'm new to all this, so I don't know a lot, but I do know that these can capacitors typically have like 4 capacitors within there. I'm sure this is going to need a recap. That's a little out of my skill range right now, so what I'm going to end up doing is having a friend help me with that later on. We'll probably do a part 2 with this amp. This looks like a mess in here. But this is where you can check all the voltages, the capacitors. Alright, so I have my multimeter here. I'm going to check the voltage through here. I have my black probe going to the chassis. You can't really see it on here, but the chassis is the ground here, and good rule of thumb, keep one hand in your pocket or behind your back when you're working on an amp. I have one hand in my pocket here, and down here is where the capacitor is, so I'm going to start probing around and checking voltages. Let's go down real quick. I'm getting a reading of 0.1. Another reading of about 0.1. 0.1 or 0.09. The last one. Also 0.9. Okay. So basically, this is safe to work with. However, in the case of if it wasn't safe to work with, I bought some. Can you see these? These are some 470 ohm resistors, 470 kilo ohm resistors. You can use to drain the capacitors by taking one of these alligator clips, clipping it to the chassis, and taking the other end and clipping it to one of the capacitors, and effectively running the voltage through the capacitor to ground, which then you can measure with the multimeter to make sure that it's dissipating or is safe to work with. But again, I don't think this amp has been turned on in a very, very long time. Also, it could not even work, so this video could be really dumb, but we'll see what happens. So moving on. I know it's safe to work with, so rock and roll. Oh, another thing real quick. I got these at the Dollar Tree. These are just wooden sticks on a plastic tube. You take the tube off, and you got a little chopstick that is non-conductive and won't kill you when you use it. So now that I know it's safe to work on, I am gonna start by taking out the existing power cable and going from there. All right. First things first, I'm gonna take out the depth capacitor, because there is no need for it anymore, and I don't want it in there at all. There we go. I gotta get this power cord out of here. To do that, I need to unsolder some things. Go. Okay, we got the hot out. Okay, the power cable is out. The next step is getting the strain relief out, which I don't know if you can really see it. At the end here, this is the hole that the power cable comes in through the chassis. You don't want the cable to be just loose, because it could just get pulled out and problems could happen. So what a lot of amps install is what's called a strain relief. What it does is it basically pinches the cable here so it can't move back and forth. You basically can just use some pliers and squeeze a little bit on the strain relief so that it compresses and you can pull it back. It's coming, but it's not. There we go. We got the power cord out. That's step one. We put the strain relief on the side here for now. And I guess the next step is looking at this. It's kind of hard to tell. My handwriting is also terrible, so forgive me. But basically the way that I take it is the power cable comes in here. The black cable will go to the power switch, and then it will go to the fuse tip, and then the fuse will go to the transformer. The white from the power cable will go to the transformer as well, and the ground will go to a transformer lug, which I'm gonna do it right here alongside this ground. And to do that, I have some of these, which I will crimp and solder onto the end of the ground. So before we go any further, real quick, I'm gonna try to figure out how long I might need each cable for the power cable. So if I were to feed it through, peel back this casing to about here. So what I'm doing is peeling back the casing a little bit to expose those wires a little more. I know that the ground, you should make the ground longer than the other two. This white one doesn't need to be that long. Basically needs to go right there. This one needs to go there. And I'm going to leave this as is. It's going to go there. I'll trim it a little bit. Trim it to about there. I'm sure this is riveting. Oh, interesting. Okay. I thought this would be like little circles, but they're not. Or I guess I don't need to get rid of it. No, I do. It's not long enough. Is this one long enough? Okay. Okay. I think with that, I can start getting everything together. So, you know what? Before I go any further, what I'm gonna do is put a little eyelet through the hole, and yeah. Alright, I don't think the existing strain relief will work with this cable. I think it's a little thicker than the other one, so I put a grommet in there. I had a grommet. I had to figure out the right size, but I don't even know if it's the right size either, but it'll work. I need to get some zip ties. I only have these little toy zip ties. Again, don't do what I'm doing. Not a professional. Never claimed to be. Okay. This is the neutral wire. I want this to go to the fuse, not the fuse, transformer. Okay. The ground is now the longest. A little more. I want a little more of this too. Just a hair. Yeah. And videos showing how to do this kind of stuff. So as for this, so I got my little what are these called? Just fell out. This is a ring terminal. This one's a blue one. What you do is you take your cable, or your wire, or whatever, pop it through. I'm gonna bend it to it. Yeah, that'll be good. I'm gonna solder this on as well, but I have this little, it's like a wire stripper slash the end here. It's a crimper, and you can see it's got red, blue, and yellow. The blue, since this is blue, is the size that you need to crimp to. So, pop it open. I haven't used it in a long time. That's probably good. Then I'll do one more. You know what, while it's there. Ooh. That's going on. Start setting up these things. It'll come under here. I don't like this solution, but I think it'll be okay. I took the existing wire I had that I took out of the amp and spliced it together. This is not, again, don't do what I'm doing. Probably a terrible idea. Oh, I also found figure zip ties, still colorful. memory card got full, so now I just have 2 things left. That's for the power switch. So that's good. That's good. That's good. Now I just gotta ground it. Okay. The ground is in. The hot comes in through the power switch, out through the tip of the fuse. The back of the fuse goes to the transformer, and the neutral goes to the transformer. That should be good. Alright, real quick, I want to test for continuity just to make sure that everything's good. So I have my multimeter here. Sorry it's upside down, maybe I'll flip it in post. But I just want to make sure that mostly that this cable, which goes from the power switch to the fuse tip, ground is there. It does connect then. If I turn it off, okay. I think we're good. It's very simple. I just got scared. I think we're good to go. Clearly I'm not an expert at this. Obviously don't do anything that I am doing without knowledge, or just take it in to someone. Again, this was $50. I don't care if I break it. I kind of wanted to do it to learn. Alright. I remember how I said it was missing 5 preamp tubes. This one actually has a tube in it, and I didn't know. Let's see what it is. This is RCA, I think. So this is an RCA 12AU7 / PCC82. I think for now I will just use all the same tubes that I just bought. But I'm going to hold on to this because this could be a good one. These are the tubes that I got in the mail. Again, they're all just like cheapo JJ tubes from Angle. We're all good. We got all those tubes ready to go. And I didn't mention it, but this amp already had tubes in it. They're kind of a weird set. They are 7868 tubes. Actually, I'm gonna wait to put those in until I put it in the chassis. I said the chassis. I meant the combo. All right, I jerry-rigged this, of course, but I figured out what was positive and negative for that. The speaker cable's going in. Now all there's left to do is plug it in and hope I don't die, so let's see what happens. Alright. Power cable, moment of truth. If I die, I die. Okay, I fell, but so far so good. I hear stuff. Scary. But I think it works. It's making noise. The jewel's not working, unfortunately. Okay. I think we're good. Scary. Alright guys, I think that's going to do it for today. I didn't die. Power cable worked. Thank you to every YouTube video I've watched on how to do that. Just got to plug something in next time. And... Okay, so it's been a few days. The power cable works, it turns on, the amp works, yada yada. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to install this speaker. Unfortunately, this speaker is cracked, but it sounds okay. It gets the job done. I was gonna wire it up with 2 speakers. I've seen people do that in, I believe, series, which makes it 4 ohms, which probably means this amp is a 4 ohm amp. For now, I'm gonna put in the one 8 ohm speaker, and that'll be it. So let's do that real quick. I've got the amp here, and I'm gonna do a quick little sound sample of it, just to show that it works. And I'll talk about a few things that are wrong with it, and maybe there definitely will be a part 2 to this. But for now, let's turn it on. It's firing up real quick. No more polarity switch, obviously. Now, this is just not connected. All it does is just turn it on. It turns on, there's no standby. You just wait for the tubes to heat up a little bit. So we're working, we're in channel 1, we're in like the hotter channel 1 input. And yeah, let's just play a little bit. I'm using a SG with, I don't know, humbucker. With, yeah, why don't we just play? As you could hear, it's making a weird noise. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Turning it off now. And then plugging. I don't know what that is, but we're turning it off now. But as you can see, it worked for a little bit. Alright, as you could hear, the amp started making a funny noise, so I turned it off and I unplugged it. And full disclosure, I have been playing it for the past week or so. So I know it works. There's some quirks. Channel 2 does not work. There's no reverb tank, obviously, so the reverb doesn't work. The tremolo, as of right now, doesn't work, but it might need just like a foot switch in the back. There's a jack for a simple switch to plug in and turn it on. I'm gonna get one of those and see if that makes it work. But yeah, for now, just channel 1 works, and obviously it doesn't work well because it makes that weird farting noise. But I mean, it turns on. The LED, it's probably not an LED, but the light bulb doesn't work on the front of it, so we'll figure that out later on. I think just for the sheer fact that I got it up and running is pretty cool. There will be a part 2 to this. I have a friend who will help me with this. One thing I gotta say, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Don't replicate what I'm doing. Call me an idiot in the comments. You're totally right. I don't know what I'm doing. But the fact that I got this amp to turn on and make sound, pretty cool in my opinion. So hopefully you got something out of this video, and hopefully it's not only anger, but maybe it is. But alright y'all, I've been Life Instead of Jess. Call me Jesse. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.